One of the challenges that I see for advisors, and I think this is a challenge on the small end and the large end, and one of the things that I wanted to ask your insights on is this idea of creating their voice content creation. I see a lot of done for you services, and I'm not going to pick on any of them because I understand the business proposition, but it's impersonal, it's not customized. The same newsletter, email template, or content or story is going to thousands of people. How does an advisor balance serving their clients, maybe managing some staff, technology growth, and finding time and space to create some content and have a voice?
Yeah, I think we're lucky in the fact that we were doing the content already, because a lot of people always ask us, well, how do you find so much time to do the content?
You started there, and it's just a natural level. You guys have just kept it.
And people say, how do you have time? And it's like, well, we have time because we make time, because content is a focus of our firm. That without the content, the firm doesn't grow and doesn't bring in new. So that's a focus that we can have because we've made it a priority. It's probably a lot harder for a firm that has not made it a priority to then turn around and do that. So you have to obviously make time for it. But the funny thing to me about content is that a lot of times it's hard to understand what is going to hit people the right way, or what's going to be. For example, one of the first days I joined Ritholtz, I kind of, because I was working for a nonprofit at the time, I obviously was not managing outside client money. I joined Ritholtz and I said, hey, now I'm actually with this firm. If anyone who's been reading me and reached out over the years said, hey, I'd love to talk to you about helping manage my money, you can do that now. So we had a decent number of readers reach out, and one of the readers reached out. We kind of asked, why did you reach out? What was it, And this gentleman who ended up becoming a client and a rather large client of ours said, I was Googling bond funds versus owning individual bonds. And your blog post about it, which sounds like the most boring topic in the world, was the first one to pop up.
Yeah.
I read it, and it sort of resonated with me, so I went down the rabbit hole and started following your blog, and then I realized you work for this firm, and now I want to talk to you. And so sometimes I think if you try to create content that you think is going to go viral or is going to get a bunch of people to read it, it's much harder to do than it sounds.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll spend weeks thinking through a piece and writing and crafting, and it just lands flat. And I'll think, I really was into this one, and then another one I'll put off in 15 minutes. It'll be a short couple paragraphs, and a bunch of people will read it. And sometimes it's hard to guess the audience. So that's why I think you have to just write stuff that frankly interests you, and almost forget about the audience, and use it as, for me, the most cathartic thing about writing is that it helps me think through, what do I really think about this stuff? And then you take that one step.
You have to fully flush out the concept and the idea and work through it.
Yeah, you have to, and I think that podcasting is taking that a step further, where you have even more time to flush out some ideas. So that's, for me, something that which was a great unintended consequence I never thought about, was, the more often I write, like the more I want to learn and understand what I think about this, and I view it as, for me, it's personally enriching and helpful, and if other people find it helpful too, that's great too. But I think that's a way to approach it, is thinking through how it can help your own process of investing, communicating, and I think, to me, I was never a big writer beforehand. In college and high school, I hated writing papers. It wasn't until I found a topic, the markets and behavior of investors in the economy, that really resonated with me, that I could go, if I write about stuff that I'm interested in, it actually, I enjoy it. And the more you do it, I feel like the better you get. Because I go back and look at the stuff I wrote. You're talking about, people who want to just start now and get that audience and go. If you've never done this before, you may not want that, because at first your stuff might not be that great.
Yeah.
So I think you have to do it on a consistent basis and sort of tell yourself, every Tuesday I'm going to send out a newsletter to clients regardless, and I'm going to put myself on this schedule, and it's going to be a deadline. And the more you do it, I think the better you can. It's almost like a muscle where you can get better at it over time.